Argument can be made that Dale Earnhardt is the most influential driver in NASCAR's history. His presence, both on the track and off, have created a mythos that young fans are taught almost as a rite of passage to be into the sport. But that wasn't a career-changing stretch of time nearly as much as his early years. And today we're going to be taking a look back at 2 seasons that would change the course of Dale Earnhardt's career forever. Many may think that I'm referring to his stellar rookie season in 1979 and his triumphant sophomore season in 1980. Well, while those are 2 monumental seasons for Earnhardt, I'm going to say that they come in just short of importance in the long run to these other seasons. These seasons being the 1982 and 1983 years. These are the 2 years that he spent racing for Bud Moore. From a statistical outlook, these years that Earnhardt spent racing in the number 15 Wrangler Ford were utterly forgettable. Earnhardt finished 7th in points in a wild 1981 season that saw his team owner Rod Osterland sell the team, for Earnhardt only to stay for 4 races after the transaction had taken place, before racing the final 11 races with Richard Childress as his car owner. This stint with the Wrangler number 3 wouldn't last long, as Childress and Earnhardt came to a mutual agreement that the team was not ready yet for Big E to be as competitive as both of them knew he could be. So, Earnhardt landed with legendary owner Bud Moore for the 1982 season. Moore had previously employed legendary drivers to pilot his machines like Joe Weatherly, Bobby Isaac, Buddy Baker, Bobby Allison, and a whole lot more. And while not winning a championship since 1963 with Weatherly, he still had a competitive team year in and year out. In the 7 years leading up to Earnhardt's hire, Moore had won 22 races with his drivers, 14 with Bobby Allison, 5 with Buddy Baker, and 3 in 1981 with Benny Parsons. So it looked like Earnhardt would still be able to be a competitive driver with the team. And while he wasn't a title contender in 1982 at any point really, Earnhardt still was a frontrunner, 4th in points despite having 1 win and 7 DNFs after 17 races. But from his 9th place run at Nashville, the season quickly took a nosedive. Earnhardt crashed out the following 2 races at Pocono and Talladega. Then he lost his brakes at Michigan. 20 races in, and he was still 9th in the point standings, but had amassed a whopping 10 DNFs in that time. And after his 3rd place run in the 22nd race of the season at Darlington, the season became an absolute lost cause. Earnhardt would fail to finish any of the final 8 races of the season. So, for those of you that were counting, yes, you got it right. That meant that Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, one of the best drivers ever, had 18 DNFs in 30 races. And even more incredibly, he still finished 12th in points, even with an 18.8 average finish. According to Racing Reference, he only finished 71% of the laps he ran that season. All of this terrible luck and terrible runs wouldn't wash away going into 1983 either. In the opening 9 races of the 83 campaign, Earnhardt only finished 1 race, a second at the 2nd race of the season at Richmond. The season was lost 9 races in, as he sat 22nd in points, already 500 points out of the lead. He and the 15 teams salvaged what they could, winning 2 races and finishing all but 5 of the final 21 races. Not a great stat line, but an improvement from the disastrous run of not finishing 16 of 17 races from Richmond in 1982 to Nashville in 1983. Earnhardt would go on to finish 8th in the final points, but his tenure with Bud Moore was over. The final tally, 60 starts, 3 wins, 16 top 5s, 26 top 10s, a pole, 2,092 laps led, an average finish of 17th, and an unbelievable 31 DNFs. Yep, Earnhardt failed to finish in more races than the amount that he ended up in the top 10. What's even more astounding is that in hindsight, fans at the time were calling Earnhardt overrated or a one-hit wonder. Never mind the fact that he had much of his equipment failing almost every other week, and he was hiding a broken femur after his Pocono crash. But Earnhardt would turn everything around starting in 1984 when he joined with Richard Childress Racing again. After winning 6 races in the 84 and 85 years combined, he would win 6 championships in the 9 years that followed between 1986 and 1994. Those 2 seasons with Bud Moore, in hindsight, were the push that was able to get Earnhardt into the right place at the right time. Had his time with Bud Moore gone differently, or better maybe, who knows how differently his career would have turned out. But now, I want to hear what you think. Did you know about these horrendous seasons that Earnhardt had, and how do you think it affected the rest of Earnhardt's career? Let me know down in the comments below, leave a like, and hey, subscribe for more good NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.